Before we get into it, this video was sponsored by, you guessed it, Squarespace. Professional, affordable website building tools. If you've been watching my content for a while, you know I've been using Squarespace for months now, especially to create an easy platform for you guys to leave video suggestions on a page on my own Squarespace website, zeltic.co.uk, which are automatically uploaded to a document on my Google Drive via Squarespace's simple form feature. This video was actually suggested by Isabel, so thank you to her. In the past, I've dabbled around with building a website from scratch, but it's a massive amount of effort. Squarespace instead provides all the tools you need on one platform. No downloads, updates, serial numbers, just log in with your account and you're good to go. Squarespace makes building a website incredibly quick and easy, and they're offering 10% off your first purchase if you head to squarespace.com/Zeltic or use code Zeltic. And as always, there's a free trial which requires no card details too. That's squarespace.com/Zeltic or use code Zeltic. The music of Breath of the Wild is incredibly unique. Instead of the bold, heroic, full themes of previous Zelda games, like Hyrule Field, the Great Sea, or the series' main theme, the game opts instead for subtle, scattered themes, fitting for the broken, ruinous world. Despite this new, somewhat slow style, the music of Breath of the Wild is incredibly clever and perfectly suits the game itself. The Talus theme, for example, which kicks in as a giant mound of boulders animates itself into a colossal golem, begins with what sounds like a pickaxe on rock, followed by big, ascending notes, so overall it begins with what sounds like an unsuspecting miner accidentally waking a Talus. And not only are the game's original tracks brilliant, like many Zelda games, it features a ton of references to previous Zelda songs. The most obvious and well-known of these being themes like Rito Village, which is of course a version of Dragon Roost Island, the Temple of Time's theme being a slowed-down Song of Time, or multiple older Zelda themes appearing in Hyrule Castle, or the various horse-riding themes. But there are a load more obscure references to other games in the series or other tracks in Breath of the Wild. So subscribe if you haven't already for more Zelda content, and let's run through a few of my favourite musical Easter eggs and references in Breath of the Wild. Before Link's adventure truly begins, he must complete the 4 shrines found on the Great Plateau, guided by the mysterious old man. A strange, hooded individual who teaches Link various skills like hunting and cooking, as well as hints at knowing more about the calamity than he lets on. It's revealed after Link collects all 4 spirit orbs that the old man is actually the spirit of Rome, the king of Hyrule who lost his life during the Cataclysm, and fittingly, a version of A Link to the Past's Hyrule Castle theme plays during this reveal. In fact, it's the version used in The Wind Waker, known as Farewell Hyrule King. Melancholic rather than like a military march. However, more subtly, this revelation is hinted at a little earlier, with the theme that plays when the old man appears. It's a little jingle, but if slowed down, it's another version of the Hyrule Castle theme. And if this wasn't clear enough, the tune that plays immediately after King Rome reveals his identity begins with the same notes as the old man's jingle, just slowed down to properly sound like the castle theme. Far from the high walls of the Great Plateau lies Death Mountain, a smouldering volcanic peak so hot that the very air itself burns, quickly lighting any who travel there unprepared like a human torch. In addition to the slow brass music of the Gorons, Death Mountain plays this theme. Fitting for the scorching slopes of the volcano, but the piano notes might sound somewhat familiar. They're a slow version of the level 9 theme from Zelda 1, which plays inside Ganon's dungeon found on Death Mountain. A brilliant moment during the game is when, during what seems like Link's final moments, the blade of the Master Sword lights up, and a familiar sound is heard, indicating that Fi is still alive, conscious and fulfilling her duty to her master countless millennia after Skyward Sword. But not only does Fi's sound effect play, her theme music can be heard on a few occasions. Firstly, during this cutscene, secondly, when Zelda takes the Master Sword to the Korok Forest, and finally after the completion of the Trial of the Sword, when Fi's sound is once again heard. Also in the Korok Forest is a musical reference I've covered before, but it's one of my favourites. When Link first meets the Great Deku Tree, for a short time, a version of Kokiri Forest plays. But not only that, it's the version of Kokiri Forest used in Forest Haven from the Wind Waker, the first home of the Koroks, which make their return in Breath of the Wild. The shrines make up the vast majority of Breath of the Wild's dungeons. Small personal challenges issued to Link by an individual monk, testing his courage, wisdom, and power in various puzzles or combat challenges. The music which plays during these shrines is the perfect balance of ominous, sacred, and intense, and seems to take inspiration from a few Zelda themes, like the Tower of the Gods, Link's Awakening's Cave, or A Link to the Past's Lightworld dungeon. But one reference which seems a little more concrete is a small sequence which plays occasionally, which is similar to the Ocarina of Time title theme, originally the recorder sound from Zelda 1. Whether or not this similarity is intentional, I can't unhear it. However, a Sheikah sound effect which is definitely a reference to another Zelda theme is the Distillation theme, which plays as a Sheikah pedestal drops information, be it a rune or a map piece, to the Sheikah slate. As the droplet builds, rising piano notes play, which is actually the chest opening theme first heard in Ocarina of Time. Of course, this theme isn't complete without the item get theme which follows, which originated in the very first Zelda game, which the Sheikah tech also replicates, with the sound effect played as the slate displays its new rune or map upgrade. Breath of the Wild's second DLC pack, the Champion's Ballad, adds 16 new shrines to the game, 4 on the Great Plateau as part of the Divine Beast's Tamer's Trial, and 3 for each of the 4 Divine Beast's regions. It's in these last 12, the Champion's Shrines, that the shrine music changes. Instead of the main shrine theme, we instead hear this, which sounds more like the kind of theme you'd expect at some ruins rather than inside a shrine. But if sped up, the Champion's Shrines theme sounds like this, which is the Champion's Ballad itself. Another Sheikah-related musical reference is the theme of Monk Maz Koshia, made up primarily of strange shunting sounds. It's one of the most unique and straight-up best boss themes in Zelda, perfectly capturing the feeling of being tested on your abilities by an ancient master. But it is in itself a remix of sorts, of the battle theme which plays inside shrines, such as tests of strength, which also feature these shunting notes. A far more well-known reference, but still one of my favourites, is encountered at a few of Hyrule's stables. These small outposts are found all across the ruined kingdom, allowing Link to rest, cook, converse with other travellers, or register, board or take out horses. The music which plays at the stables is one of the most calming themes in the game, and even seems to reference Epona's song in part, which is, of course, the song used to tame and call Epona in Ocarina of Time, as well as the theme for Lon Lon Ranch, where she's found. But the stables theme doesn't only partially resemble Epona's song. At stables where Cass, the bard bird, is found, he'll be playing his accordion in addition to the stables music, harmonising with Epona's song. A similarly well-known, but cool nonetheless, theme is Breath of the Wild's house theme. While the classic Zelda house music seems to be absent from the game, it can still be found, but only at a few remote locations, the lodges. Found in the Hebra region, the lodges are cozy shelters from the biting cold, with warm fireplaces, beds, and often supplies for the hero to use. And in case this wasn't comfortable enough, these lodges play a slow, broken version of the classic house theme, only really recognisable if sped up. At the climax of the game, when Link finally comes toe-to-toe with the hulking Calamity Ganon, he's not alone. If he's freed the 4 divine beasts from their blight, the massive Sheikah engines will launch an assault on Ganon, barraging him with a coordinated strike. The beasts fire from high vantage points in their respective regions, which after their champion has been freed, they climb to and take aim at the castle. While the beasts move, a heroic marching theme plays, and later, when they fire at Ganon, a different, more energetic theme plays. Freeing 4 titanic, godlike protectors and having them assist with the final battle of course resembles Majora's Mask's climax. After Link has freed the 4 giants, they march forth to catch the moon before it hits Clocktown. They do this after Link plays the Oath to Order, summoning the deities to save the land, just like how the 4 freed divine beasts help Link fight Ganon. Well, perhaps as an intentional reference, Breath of the Wild's music parallels Majora's Mask's here. When the beasts take aim at Ganon, the following theme can be heard. Which is incredibly similar to the Oath to Order. Which summons the 4 giants. It's not exact, as Breath of the Wild's theme only has 5 notes and the Oath to Order has 6, and I think they're in a different key, but they are similar, and if it's intended to be a nod to Majora's Mask, it's a fantastic one. It also goes a step further. The theme that plays when the champions finally launch their assault is incredibly similar to the theme which plays after Majora's defeat, when the moon vanishes. These two themes aren't exact, so I can't tell if they were intentional like some of the more obvious ones like Fee's theme or Forest Haven, but if they were intended as references, it would make sense considering the parallels between Majora's Mask's giants and the divine beasts. Thanks for watching this video. How many of these did you know? Did I leave off any of your favourites? Let me know in the comments below. And be sure to check out Squarespace with the link in the description. Cheers guys, and I'll see you next time.